Tim Wagner, and I'm a digital nomad by profession, which means that I travel everywhere on my laptop. Wherever I've got internet, I can be. But I haven't always done this. It's taken many, many years to be able to live a lifestyle where we can travel, we being my wife, myself, and our two fur kids, that we can travel wherever we want to. And at this stage, we've been focusing in South Africa. We started traveling in June of last year. And we love going to see different places. We like a place, we stay longer. Oh, our power's come on. Wonderful. There we go. My battery doesn't have to expire anymore. So hopefully I shouldn't lose you. I haven't, no. And I'm going to leave the candle on. It's very romantic. I've lost my train of thought. So we travel everywhere. And it was working in online platforms over many, many years that allowed me to be able to be free to go anywhere that we actually want to. And as things change and progress and open up around the world with restrictions limiting and so on, then we're going to travel further afield. But for now, my wife and I and our two kids, we travel around South Africa. That's why we arrived today. We were on the coast in KwaZulu-Natal. And if you're in South Africa and around the world, you've seen the devastation perhaps on the news for the floods. And yes, it's been pretty hectic. Fortunately, we never got into trouble, but apart from sitting in huge traffic jams because the roads were being flooded and washed away and bridges on main roads, it's going to take a lot of time to recover. But anyway, to the point now that, well, we're here and all safe. So my background was in corporate hospitality. For 27 years, I ran my own business and also most of the time working a job for somebody else. And then it's just over, in fact, last week, it was 4 years that I became happily unemployable after I fired my last boss. And I said, I don't want to work here anymore. It's enough. I don't want employees. I don't want stock. I don't want a boss. I don't want any of those things. I just want to start building my own dream. And that was my reason for going and learning a whole lot of new skills. So if you are in a position where you're looking at something different, maybe some additional cash flow or different opportunities on the side of your business, your full-time job, you're in the right place. Now, I've learned a lot of lessons, some of them very expensive over the years. And when I first presented with Gift of Legacy in January of last year, well, in the gifting community last year, I joined and looked at this with a lot of skepticism and concern as I just lost a lot of money. A business partner had run off with a huge amount of my wealth, my money that I've been earning and putting together for myself and my family. And he's still not been seen. Still not been seen. So perhaps you're in an environment where you're saying, I've been scammed. I know of people who've been scammed online. You're in good company. Good company. Let's not compare wounds, but let's compare to see if you can see what I saw when I was first presented with a gifting economy. Because what I found was a lot of what I call golden nuggets, and I'll highlight them for you as I'm going through it, which tick the boxes of what I found online platforms were not able to do before. I'm going to explain them now because I'm going to be just duplicating what I'm going to talk about. So let's crack straight into it, and I'll highlight those golden nuggets as were very important to me and that what made the gifting economy very receptive. Now, I'd never heard of gifting economies before, and which I thought was very strange because I'd been working online and in online businesses since 2016. I'm sort of specializing in cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin mining, Bitcoin, and all those background. And so this was just a completely new environment to be in. I've done network marketing before. I've done multi-level marketing. I've sold products. I've showed housewives why their washing powder is not as good as this one. I've been there and done it. And if you have as well, fantastic. But noting that this is not a business and also that it isn't network marketing. But I will refer to some principles in it. Why? Well, if you apply some principles of business, principles of networking, just general principles in good sense, you can really benefit from what the gifting economy and Gift of Legacy has to offer you. So just as an overview and introduction, being birthed and, well, as I said, 3 months and 6 days ago was when it was birthed. And it was birthed from a group of people around the world who got together and said, we can improve on how these gifting economies work. So perhaps you are part of one already, and or you've heard of it before, but you've heard of these problems. Well, these guys got together and said, we can solve these issues with some very, very clever algorithms, with very clever ways of putting this together. If the gifting economies have already helped millions around the world, let's see if we can't improve it. And that's exactly what's gone and happened. Now, what I found absolutely fascinating is exactly what was going to be delivered and what was in theory put together has worked. So you can read this. I'm not going to read the whole detail on here, but what this slide is about is just to understand that there's a massive change in the economies of the world. I think we can all agree that the way that the economic world works, the governments are working and finances are working around the world, has been changing very, very fast. And over the last just over 2.5 years, now that has sped up dramatically. Now, in the way that I look at it is, you can either be on the outside looking in, you can be part of this change, in other words, to benefit from it, or you can just be going, what on earth is going on? Now, I'd highly recommend you get part of it, because the move in the whole economies, one of them is about the fact that economies are becoming about self-sufficient, about community living, arising out of people joining together as communities. And as my wife and I travel around South Africa, we see how critical this is. So you are listening now into a structure of the way that, although this is not a new economy, you're listening to a structure of the way that economies around the world are actually changing and going and working together as communities to benefit yourself, your family, and then the greater communities around the world together. So that's what this is all about. Great book there. You're welcome to take a screenshot. Go and have a look. Go and grab that book. Understand about the economic paradigms as they're changing. Disclaimer for you very quickly. Skip that one. There we go. Just to say that I'm just here representing Gift of Legacy. I'm not an employee. I'm not paid to do this. I do this because I love it. I believe in what we have, and I like sharing. So there's no way. Please don't construe anything as financial advice. Gift of Legacy and myself, none of us are financial advisors or tax advisors. I'm purely here sharing information as an example to what you can benefit from, exactly the way that I've been benefiting from it as well. So none of the presenters are paid. We are all volunteers, and we're always looking for volunteers in the community to come on board and join and present as well. So by all means, raise your hand. Now, who is this for? Well, I've told you very briefly that when I first saw this, I joined after having lost a huge amount of money. And one of my reasons for joining it was needing and looking for cash flow. Okay, so perhaps that's why you're here. Perhaps you just like helping other people and you're looking for a means to assist others. You personally don't need cash flow. You're very secure in life. Fantastic. Congratulations. But the others around you aren't. And you're looking for a way that you can help uplift them by them uplifting themselves. So whatever reason it is you're here, why you're here, perhaps you've got huge debts, you lost your job, your business closed due to the pandemic or government controls or taxations, whatever it may be. You're now needing another avenue, and you're thinking, if I carry on doing what I've been doing, I'm going to carry on getting the same results, which, if you're not happy where you are financially, let's have a look and see if we can change that. So if you answered yes to the above, let's get started. Here's an overview. I'm going to go through a couple of slides here, and then I'm going to come down to the nuts and the bolts, which is the money. And that's my key thing. I'm the numbers guy. I like breaking things down financially, because I'm saying, okay, if I put this, what do I have to do to maximize? So let's go through an overview, which gives a little bit about the why. And then we're going to go through the what and the how. So global gifting economies have no borders, as you perhaps would have seen in the chat box from people all over the world. And this slide's a little bit old. It's not 90. I think it's 105 countries, if I remember correctly. There's one of the other presenters on here. Put in the chat box if they know the exact numbers. But this is about uplifting communities and yourself. In fact, it should be the other way around. Yourself first. The analogy being, put the oxygen mask on yourself before you put it on other people. And that's a huge part of it. But it's about uplifting other people. Yourself, then you demonstrate. You've now got the demonstrated success from yourself. Help others. About creating abundance. It's about self-development. So when I first came into online platforms and networking and all these different things, I tried applying 27 years, although at that time it was about 20 odd years, of hospitality experience into a different business model, and it just didn't work. What I realized was that in order to maximize my time spent and my earning potentials, I needed to learn some new skills. So self-development becomes a huge part of it. And with the gift of legacy, we've got some online platforms. We've got a YouTube channel to help teach you some new skills. Why? Perhaps you need to learn some new skills to benefit from this fully. Just because you're skilled and very knowledgeable in what you are doing and have been doing in your career or your business doesn't necessarily apply 100% to this. So just consider there may be some self-development things. And the great thing is it all helps in life. So sacred economics, that's what we're talking about. In South Africa or the African cultures, it's called Ubuntu. It's about communities, it's about sharing, about giving and receiving, It's ancient, it's been around for many, 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 many decades. In fact, in South Africa, gifting economies is actually written in the South African Tax Act that is 100% legal. So although it's maybe off the mainstream system and you haven't heard about it, I think there's only a very few countries around the world where gifting economies are actually illegal. So go ahead. There's nothing illegal about this. And you'll see one of the key reasons why as we're going along. Blessed millions of people. It's been around for long enough. I've already spoken about that. I know people who receive gifts on a daily, weekly basis, monthly. The speed of it, how you speed of receiving gifts depends on what you put in. I'll explain that for you just now. So giving hope, massive part. Giving people an option where they turn around and they go, wow, I can actually sleep more peacefully at night. I've got hope for my future. We're not going to lose the house. The kids have got the school fees. We've got to be able to get the food on the table, whatever it may be. So let's just get on and help people gain abundance globally. Decentralized. Here's a golden nugget for me. Not owned by a company, not owned by a broker, a trader, institution. In fact, as you go through this, you'll notice that, in fact, Gift of Legacy has no money. No money. No funds is actually given to the platform. I'll explain that for you just now. It does not cost anything for you to have the system running. Right? So completely what we call decentralized. There is a board, a community, the leadership team, whatever you want to term them, who oversee this with the programmers to make sure that Gift of Legacy is here forever. And that's referred to the training of yesterday. Chris goes through a lot of that information. Chris Hatchinger goes through a lot of that information for you to understand some of the bigger pictures. But in order to capitalize or benefit from this, what do you need? Smartphone. Everybody's got one of these days. Access to the internet, Telegram, WhatsApp for communication, and then being able to get online. Here's golden nugget number 2, peer-to-peer. In other words, no one's holding the money for you. I mentioned at the beginning that a business partner, at the beginning of last year, ran off with a whole lot of my money. It was all in Bitcoin. Okay, that's how we moved the funds, was Bitcoin. He walked off with it. Why? He was in control of it. So in Gift of Legacy, it caught my attention when no third party is controlling your money. All the money goes from person to person. So that makes it as risk-free as I've ever been able to see. And golden nugget number 3, perpetual. Ongoing. So have you ever found when you leave a job or a business, it's gone, fails, whatever it may be, that your income stream suddenly stops and you put in all that commitment, that dedication, that knowledge, those hours that you put into that business. But then when you left it, they stopped paying you. That sucks. As far as I'm concerned, big time. What if there was a way that I could show you that you could apply some basic system principles, follow some set principles in order to gain, and then set it up so that you could continue to get perpetual income ongoing over and over and over, and generations as well, generational wealth. Put this within your will. I've already had it written into my will that this is going to get handed over to generations, to my wife, if I go before her, to my child, to nephews, nieces, whoever it may be. Hand it over. There's no reason why it can't stop. So this is way more than just about money or about money for yourself. This is further and bigger than that. It's about communities, about changing lives. Let's get down to some nuts and the bolts. First of all, a refresher. All right. So, how do we start on this? Now, there's 2 things. Let's cut straight to it. I don't like presentations where they only tell you right at the end, and this is what it's going to cost you. Here's what it is. $100. That's all, once off ever. No monthly fees, no recurring fees, no membership fees. $100, that's it. Now, for me, $100, absolutely no problem. But I wanted to know what my return was going to be. But I figured $100 in, I don't mind. What I enjoyed from this was that $100, not only was it the one and only time, but I was actually giving that to a person to help that person uplift themselves so they could have a better life. It wasn't going to a company or somebody else that I didn't know, or a business or anything like that. It was going direct to a person. I thought $100, that's fine. If it doesn't work for me and it fails, I fail, it fails, whatever happens, is I know my $100 has gone to somebody for a good cause and off they go. Better. So $100 once off. The second is share this. Why do you share this? Well, how does anything in life grow? If you look at it from a business perspective, you own a hair salon. You need to get clients. You need to get people. You do marketing. You talk to people. You talk to your friends. You ask your clients to refer other people to you in order to be able to grow, right? Why would this be any difference? How do things move along? How are economies moved along? How are recessions broken is by people joining and contributing to the economy of the system in order for it to grow. That's all that you do. But here's the thing. Only two people. Only two people. So 2 by 2. Everybody. 2 bring in, 2 bring in, 2 bring in, 2 bring in, 2. That's it. $100 and 2. That's it. Maybe we must end the presentation now. How's the money moved? One of the things I had to learn was, I'd never done it before. I had to learn about PayPal. And Wise is what I've used before. Cryptocurrencies, I do a lot of training and I know about cryptocurrencies. But I learned some of these things. Why? Because I've gifted people internationally and other people internationally have gifted me as well. So we move the money and we've got training videos to help you on that. But here's the thing, it goes direct from you into somebody else's account that they control. And we've got, as I said, training videos and things ready for you. So how does this actually work? Okay, so we've gone through what it is, why you want to do this. Now we said, that's what it's going to cost you. Let's show you how it actually works. And if the returns is going to satisfy you, that you think it is worth putting your time in. So in the following slides, we're going to be following that little yellow circle there and yellow, orange, whichever it is. That's you representing how this is going to work. And here's another nugget of mine. It is so simple. Please don't complicate it like I do. I like to break things down and complicate it and find the ins and outs. And okay, if this happens, what happens? There are no fancy systems or structures or leadership bonuses and this bonus and that bonus and this as there are in network marketing. This is pure and simple, straightforward. Money from you, gifted to somebody else. Starts off on a $100 board, progress to a $400, then a $1,600, then a $5,000. You progress through 4 different stages I'll explain to you. At the end of your first journey of going through all 4 boards, you will receive $42,700. That's a given. The numbers are fixed. And on an ongoing basis, perpetually, $49,700. Now, those numbers may seem rather high, and I've been in too many environments where you're shown the world, but to get there, only very select few actually do it. So let's see in this environment whether that is going to be possible for you. Right? So here's how it works. You'll notice that this is a board. This is the first board. They're all designed on exactly the same style. It's just the name changes and the amount changes. There are 8 gifter positions, 4 on the left, 4 on the right. There are 4 builders, 2 guides, and 1 legend. The legend is the person who receives the gift. The gifter, obviously, is the one that gifts the legend. $100 in, 8 gifters, gift the legend, $800 out. From a business perspective, that cash flow I liked. So let's have a look at how it works. Here's you join, you're introduced by a builder. Okay? Typically, the builder introduces the gifters. You are a gifter now and will move to a builder, you'll do the same. It's a duplicatable system that you're just going to follow through. We work in dollars. Why dollars? Well, at this stage, maybe going to change in the next months or years, the dollar is still seen as the main world currency, and every country understands the value of a dollar into their own currency. So you're always gifting that amount. So if I'm gifting somebody in America, I'm going to take 1,405 Rand, which is the exchange rate, and I'm going to send that, going to convert it to dollars, so the person I am actually gifting, the legend, receives $100. I cover, as a gifter, all the fees. Why is that important? Well, if you give somebody a gift, you wrap a nice present, you don't say, here's a gift, but give me $1 back for the wrapping paper. No. The gift of $100 is what's given. Okay. As soon as you join the board, ideally immediately, if not within 24 hours, you've contacted the legend and you have then gifted the legend. So how does that work? When you register on the board, and because this is peer-to-peer, there's no funds on the board, the registration process is very simple. You need a username, your name, email address, telephone number. That's it. Okay. The computer system, once you register, will then introduce to the legend. They will give you the legend's contact details. You then get hold of the legend. You say, hi, legend. My name is Tim, and I've just recently joined your bronze board. I have $100 to gift you. How would you like to receive it? And you're going to do that almost immediately. If not, no more than 24 hours, please. Here's why. When you are legend and the gifter joins the board, how would you like to be treated? So when you know that, and you'd say, well, if a gifter joins, I would like them to contact me immediately. They've joined, they've got the $100, contact me, gift me, perfect. So then you treat the legend the same way. We do it immediately. The legend's going to reply back and say, that's amazing, wonderful to meet you, Tim. Thank you so much for your generous gift. That's absolutely amazing. I'm in South Africa, so if you are as well, then local bank account transfer or cryptocurrencies if you're internationally. Otherwise, I use Wise. The legend will then say that's how they'd like to receive it, and the gifter then sends it in the accordingly agreed way. It's as simple as that. Each of the 8 gifters then join the board. Left, and right side. That's 8 gifts. What happens then? Once that happens, this board is completed. It's gone. It's finished. 2 new boards are created. As the board splits down the middle, the guides become legends, and you move up to the next level builder. What's your role as builder? Your role as builder is to introduce 2 people. Remember, I said 2 and only 2. That's it. This is when you bring them in, and they will join. You've now understood how to register. You've seen how simple it is to gift. You then teach your 2 friends, colleagues, like-minded people, good-natured people into the system who are also going to participate and bring in their 2. Now, you're not going to just go and put there your cat and your dog and your two newborn twins, unless your cat and your dog are going to go out and actually bring in their owners. Why? Because it's 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. And you bring in their 2, you're going to help your 2 bring in their 2 so that then you can move up. It doesn't stop here. The work only begins now, but it's not really work. It's actually great fun. How do you do it? That's why we're here on a daily basis, a nightly basis, and I'll show you later on all the presentations around the world. For the people who've trodden the path before you, who understand it perhaps more, who've done it a bit longer, that you don't have to explain it. Bring them on the Zooms and let the presenters do it for you. So there you go. You've brought in your 2. The other builder brings in their 2. On the right side, exactly the same thing happens. What happens after 8? The board splits. You got that right. There we go. You've now moved up to guide. What happens next? You've learned some new skills. You've learned how to present this. There's a 7-minute video you sent out and shared with colleagues, friends, people you know, people you respect. Not social media. We don't do that. We don't know them. This is invitation only. You send it out, and you send it out to your peoples. So you've learned some skills. How do you teach your builders how to do that? They bring in their gifters. Now, the legend, which the legend is now the person that brought in you, it's their chance to sit back and benefit from the $800. Here's what's so exciting. Once you're a guide and you've taught your builders what to do, they're going to go and do that as you move to legend. This is when the guides, the new gifters, contact you and say, hi, Tim, I've got $100 to gift you. How would you like to receive it? It's a wonderful thing. So the 8 gifters come in. How quickly? It depends on what you've put in. If you've brought 2 people in who is motivated and excited and understand this as you have, and they bring in 2 and they bring in 2, I did this in 4 days. Now that is quite fast, whether you do it in a week or a month, doesn't really matter. But let's just say we want to get some movement. We want to get some movement. The board doesn't die, but you don't want it to sit and stagnate. So you work with the people to move them along to help them bring in their people. You bring the people in as a builder, a guide, and a legend bringing people in. The structure is slightly different. Refer back to the presentation or the information Chris shared last night. But for now, understanding is new person coming in, gifter to builder to guide to legend. This is where you sit back. What happens now? Somebody started off listening to this and said, it's one of those pyramid schemes. I'm going to show this guy it's a pyramid scheme, because a pyramid scheme, this guy sits in the middle and makes all the money. But does a pyramid scheme, once you've got the money, drop you to the bottom? Well, you see this one does, and I'll show you why. You're going to now join the bottom of a $400 board and the bottom of a new $100 board. Why do you want to do this? Remember I said to you there's 4 boards. The first is $100. Once you've gone through the cycle, first time in your legend, you've gone off it on the $100 board, you're going to join a perpetual board for that ongoing income. That's the key thing, what we want. It's not the first cycle. It's to get on the perpetual board so they can tick over continuously. Where you have the only influence you have on the speed of that is helping people on new people coming in on the $100 board. You're then going to take $400 of what the $800 you were gifted, $400 to get onto the next board. That's going to leave you $300 in your pocket. $100 you're putting aside, so you're championing, you're looking after it. It's like from a businessman's perspective, you've received your cost to join was $100, you've received $800 income, you've got $400 expense or cost to go to the silver board, $100 to remain in the system, you've got $300 in your pocket. Remove what you put in, you've left off with $200. $100 in, $200 out. I don't see it as a risk when I've gifted somebody else. So even if it didn't work, I thought, I'm in. Those numbers I like. And considering the fact that I'm in control of the movement of the money, it comes directly to me. That to me was massive golden nuggets. So let's have a look. If $200 return, if you want to call it that, although it isn't a business, it's money. Let's treat it seriously. Treat it with respect. Let's have a look what happens on the next board. Oh, before we do that, here's the perpetual numbers. $100 to gift in from what you've already been gifted. So remember, you've only ever taken $100 out of your pocket once. Because you've already gone onto a $400 board, you don't go on every single time. That means at the end of cycling, you go through the same system. You go from gifter to builder to guide to legend. Once you finish a legend position, you're gifting $100 back in to the next $100 board to be in the perpetual system, meaning you keep $700 over and over and over again. And that, as long as the economy keeps ticking over, how do you avoid recession? Recession is where people stop putting money in and they hold it back for fear that you're going to lose it all, right? You're not going to create a recession because it doesn't help you, it doesn't help anybody. You're going to put $100 in. This is what you're going to get out. $400 on the next board in, $3,200 out. Now the numbers are starting to look really, really interesting. You're going to follow exactly the same process. How do you influence the speed of a $400 board? How do you get to legend quicker? Helping your team to move off and to progress off a $100 board quicker, because everybody that you put in will follow you. The more you put in, you don't have to stop at 2, you can do 20, you can do 30. It doesn't matter as long as you're educating and helping them understand how it works, and they do it 2 by 2 by 2. So then the more that you bring in and help, and they help each other, so it speeds your progress up on all the other boards. Okay, you're going to come in on this board. Cost you it's now going to hold back $1,600 and $400. I've got somebody drawing on my screen. Please don't. Somebody's got their child on the mouse pad here. Leaving you $1,200 in your pocket. Does that start making a difference? No, not yet. That's not enough. Or maybe the debt to pay off some of the credit card or school fees. Okay. If you can do $1,200 and you only put $100 in, imagine what's going to happen now when you get onto the $1,600 board. Again, $3,200. $1,600 is going to get you onto the next board, $400 onto the perpetual board. Here's what a perpetual board looks like. Because you're already on the third board, you're now keeping everything apart from $400, which you're putting back into the system. Perpetually now, you're holding $2,800 back. I've done this. It's a wonderful feeling. Here's the next board, $1,600 in. Now the numbers are starting to look very big. $12,800 out. I've gifted somebody $1,600 before. I get a bigger kick from giving somebody $1,600 than I do from receiving it. It's quite amazing. Wouldn't you want to be in a position to gift somebody that you've never met? I've gifted somebody in the Philippines. When I last gifted somebody, Denmark, they were Danish. It was quite phenomenal. I had to go online and work out the conversion, send them off. Anyway, there we go. $12,800 when you're a legend. Again, the same system. The people coming off the $400 board are going to fill the $1,600 board for the gifted positions. The people coming on perpetual $1,600 boards are also going to fill those gifters. And that's how the cycle works. It's quite amazing. It's like that Ferris wheel. You're going to enter onto the last board. That's the $5,000 board. $5,000 you're going to gift somebody one day. Wow. You've received $12,800. From that, you're holding back $5,000. But this is the last board. So now you're going onto the $1,600 board as well. That's going to leave you $6,200 in your pocket. Doesn't matter what country you are in the world, $6,200 does make a difference. Perpetual board, $11,200. Same system applies. Just the number that increases. Can you see how that anybody applying the basic principles of 2 by 2 by 2 on the $100 board, doesn't matter the time, maybe it takes you 6 months, 3 months, 2 months, maybe it takes you a year to get here, $11,200 extra on top of what you're doing. You haven't fired your boss, not yet. You do that once you've got 7 income streams. Then you fire your boss. This is used for cash flow to generate. Okay, $11,200 on top of your income that you have already. That's going to make a different Christmas. Now you're on the $5,000 board. You're going to get $40,000. Why? 8 by $5,000, $40,000 out. You can see now how the numbers work. You've completed the round of the first cycle. Now understand, while you're on the $5,000 board, your perpetual boards are ticking over. You're still getting gifts coming through from $100, the $400 and the $1,000, $600 boards. Those are ticking along still. On top of this, so the numbers I presented to you, which you looked at and think, that's huge at the beginning, it's actually understated. It's more than that. At the end of a $5,000 board, you're keeping $35,000 in your pocket on an ongoing basis. This is the last board. So you're not passing any gifts on to any other board apart from keeping $5,000 ticking over onto the perpetual boards. Wouldn't you like to earn $35 or be gifted, not earn? Be gifted $35,000 on an ongoing basis. Let's have a look at all these numbers. Take a screenshot of that. Meditate on these numbers. Dream on them. Find your why, your reason, why you would do this. Why would you learn a few new skills? Is it worth your time, your effort, your energy, and your $100 to learn a few skills, to share this with a few like-minded people, for you to get some of these numbers? You see, we're going to share this with like-minded people. We're looking for new leaders. We're looking for new people who are going to then take this and share this with other people. $100 once off. Share with 2 like-minded people. Get them in the system. Get them onto the training. Get them into the presentation and the system in order to earn $42,700. A lot of people misunderstand the power of this compared to a normal job. If you wanted to increase your income in your business or your job by $49,700, what would you have to do? Could you go to your boss and say, boss, I need an income of $49,700 extra? What's he going to say to you? Or she, what are they going to say to you? So where else are you going to get additional income for you to have a better, more secure life that should any other government clampdown and lockdown happen, you're going to still be able to sleep peacefully and breathe and then help other people because you're in a financial position that you can do because you're not relying on one income stream. We're all taught to rely on one income stream. Bad idea. Bad idea. Been there, been retrenched. Not a good place to be. Let's have a look. Understand something, please, very important about this, that the participation of it is essential for this to work. So if you haven't brought in 2 people by the time that you are a legend, you can still receive the gifts. But it's very selfish to just receive the gift and not go anywhere with it. You're going to be then sidelined. They're going to put you on the side for the moment. You're not going to be removed or anything like that. You can receive the gift. You're going to be put on the side. Once you're ready and you've introduced your 2, then you're going to be able to progress onto the $400 board and also the perpetual. If you haven't brought in your 2, then you're not adding what is required of everybody within the system. So you need that in order to get on a perpetual system as well. But understanding and remember that you're only bringing in those 2 people once off ever on the $100 board. What I would strongly encourage you to do is repeat it. See, once you've gone through $100 and a $400 board, you own it so much and you've realized how much it helps you that you're going to just share it with way more people. And the more people that you help come in on your boards, on the $100 board, helps you speed up and move through the other boards as well, because they follow you through. So why is this a little bit different from other gifting economies? Well, very user-friendly. It is such a simple system. It doesn't require much analysis. Introduce two, share a video, bring them onto a Zoom. Maybe the person introduced you, get them introduced, have a three-way WhatsApp call. I do that. Why not? Have a chat, go through some questions and answers. Best way, get involved, find out. So very user-friendly, very fail-safe system. There's a lot of fail-safes in the background here to make sure that GL is here for generations. This is not a system being set up to last a few years. Multiple online platforms and businesses that I'm involved in are typically only got a year, sometimes even less, otherwise 2 years lifespan before they die, because there's no funds on this. As long as the community is continuing to follow the system, abide by the rules, no scamming or breaking it or trying to see, oh, if I do this, I can make more and do that. No, no, no. If there was a better way to run it, we would be presenting it. Follow this system. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. There's a phenomenal innovative algorithm. And what this algorithm does is it helps all the boards continue to move. So even those who are struggling over time will be helped to move on. And that's what we also call the cross-pollination, where the people, new people coming in and those coming on the perpetual boards will also be added, that perhaps on a board you're on, you'll suddenly see these names that you don't know coming in. That's the algorithm. That's the system, how it's very cleverly been created, that it will not stagnate. How do you move things quicker? Do some work. If you're just going to sit back, sure, you could be gifted $800. But really, is $800 going to really make much of a difference? We're a global community. I've spoken about that. And you'll see some of the things just now. Don't limit yourself. We have a great support team. Please, when you're online and you go to the support, little help button down the bottom there, these are volunteers. There's no employees. Remember, Gift of Legacy doesn't make money. So we don't have employees. There are none. Anybody here who helps on the support are just part of the community wanting to give back in, exactly as I am to you on a Wednesday evening, to give back into the community. So be polite with them. Be sensitive to the fact that there's different cultures and different languages around the world. Fast Track is very, very special. Now, Fast Track makes quite unique for those who are real networkers, who have got a good amount of people who want to move through quicker. There's ways that you can unlock all 4 boards. Well, let's say the $400, $1,600, and the $5,000 quicker by introducing more people. So introduce 4 and get access to a $400 board. Only join a board when you got the gift. If you don't have the money, you don't join. You wait and follow the system, but you can fast track if you want to getting onto a $1,600 board. Invite 6 people onto your $100 board. It opens up. So you can then speed up. Once you've gone through 400, you've gifted the $400, you can go into the 16, give the 16, you can then go to the 5,000 if you introduce 8 people. But I would only recommend having a look at this. If you are one of those people who are skilled networkers, you understand how these systems work. If you sometimes move too fast, because you look at those numbers, you go, I want that money, I need that money. Greed kills. Be very careful. By this stage, you need to know what you're doing before you get there. You're not going to join a new company and become CEO overnight. You'll kill that business. You're going to need to process to learn. You can learn the skills quickly because you've got a lot of background knowledge and experience. You get there quicker. Then you can do that. But otherwise, I'd highly recommend learning it, following it. There's still a lot of great money to be made. A couple of notes to finishing off as we come wrapping up. How am I doing for time? Let me have a look. Brilliant. Okay. Important to understand, like-minded people only, like-hearted people, no space fillers. So I said, you don't put your 2 newly born twins in there unless you're going to, unless you're willing to, you're welcome to. Unless you're willing to, then find 4 people. So you join, you move over to the builder position, you introduce your 70-year-old mom and your 2-year-old daughter, and the understanding that you're going to be looking for 4 new people. If you're willing to do that, do that. If not, don't do it, because that does not help the board. We want magic builders, not space fillers. Be the messenger, not the message. Share the message, but don't explain it. That's what we're here for. You don't need to. It takes too much time. Use the system, use the YouTube videos, share it this way. This is why we have a system. Invite people to the Zooms. Come to the Zooms frequently, at least 3 times, to remain interactive. It's a dynamic changing system. It has to do that. It's only 3 months old. Whole new things are learning, which we never experienced or never thought were going to happen. And those things need to be changed. So that's why it's so important to join the presentations. And I'd say at least the Monday, the Wednesday, because I'm here. Doesn't matter which one. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and the Friday, where you're going to hear Chris and Candace, who are then give updates from the programmers as what's changing and happening. Follow the AIDA system. This is one of the training videos available on YouTube. AIDA stands for attention, interest, desire, action. This is the 4 stages that anybody needs to move through. How do you get somebody's attention? How do you captivate their interest, their desire, and then lead them into action? So in closing, there's no guarantees. What you put in, you get out. If you don't put anything in, you put $100, you gift somebody $100 and you say, that's it, I'm done. It's not an investment. You're going to gain nothing. No one around you is going to gain. Anybody on the board, the person who introduced you has just wasted their time. If you don't want to introduce anybody, please don't join. Please do not join if you're not interested in speaking to anybody else to help them along, because that's how it's going to fall flat. The person who introduced you, copy what they've done. Okay? 100% peer-to-peer. You can read what we've got on there. No third-party affiliations are linked. So if somebody says, oh, let me do it for you, let me manage your account for you, well, that's on your own risk, not recommended at all, as it is a peer-to-peer structure already. Here's an example of some Zooms, and these are shared on our Telegram channels. So get onto the Telegram channels, ask the person who invited you here for the links in order to get on there, where then you can get all the presentations and where they are. And you can see from around the world, and this has even grown even more. In South Africa, there's even Zulu presentations now as well. There's 3 main Telegram channels. Gift of Legacy Testimonials. I love it. Real life story from real life people, completely unscripted, of how this is impacted. Use that if you're speaking to skeptics. Say, well, look at this. These are real life people who've got their stories about what's happened. It was hard at the beginning, made the money. I got it straight away. Wow, this gift helped me buy my car, helped me keep my house, whatever it is. You've got the official info only channel and then the community channel as well. Here we go. Dutch, Espanol, Italiano. Take a screenshot. Otherwise, get onto that channel. A lot of information. Okay, let's round up on a couple of points on there. So I've already gone through the why. I've gone through the what and the how. Now, just a couple of things here. I've mentioned that Gift of Legacy is not a company, all right? It's not owned by a specific individual. There's no money on the system, but this costs a huge amount, not only to create it, and we've got I've met them, some phenomenal programmers who head this up, who are doing so much work out of the generosity of their heart, because they are also part of the system. But because there's no money, where's the money come from to run this? It needs to be maintained. There's servers all over the world to keep this going. Perhaps as you go along, and you're now on a $1,600 or $5,000 board, you would like to contribute to the upliftment of it, to the maintenance of it, more than welcome to. Go on to Gracious Givers Movement, ggmovement.org, donate, and you're welcome to. Not a requirement to anybody, but perhaps at those stages when you're getting some big money coming through and gifted, you would like to share it back into the community of GG. So, Gracious Givers Movement has introduced what's called the Love Heart. Now, this is aside from you starting to be gifted money. How can you go and help other people? Non-profits, other people who are completely down and out, maybe people in an old age home, whatever charity organization. But those charities and people in old age home, or maybe the very, very elderly or very ill person in hospital needs heart transplants or something very, very dramatic. They're not going to go out there and network and speak to people and get others coming in and on and on. That's where the Love Heart position is actually being created. What would happen is you can read these slides as I talk. You, as the gifter, are going to gift them in. So you would be responsible for that $100 to get them into the system. They're not going to join your what's called lineage or your boards. They're going to join the Love Heart position. So that then what happens is that fills up from other charities that are coming in. You are the person who is gifting the $100 in. gets them into the system. They don't have to invite 2 people. Nothing like that at all, because the 2 invitees are going to come from other love heart positions. So it's sponsored by you. You're responsible for the board until the board is actually confirmed and moves on, and then you can hand it over to them. In order to be able to have a charity organization, go to the ggmovement.org Love Heart, fill in the application form. That'll get sent through to a committee. They will make sure that it is genuine. They will then add them into the system. You would gift the person, and as that new gifters come in and that position moves up to the legend position, once they're legend, they're going to that charity or person, domestic gardener, rehab center, whatever it is. You've got some examples here. Would then receive the $800. You're then going to help them understand how they keep 3 and follow exactly the same process. But they individually don't have to find the 2. They don't have to find the $100 because you're going to be gifting them in. There's already testimonials, and Petra, who's normally my co-host, unfortunately she's ill this evening, couldn't join. You have to live with me tonight. Great pity. Sorry about that. She's done a lot of phenomenal work through her nonprofit as well, 1365. You can follow her on Instagram and Facebook and so on. And with that, she's got phenomenal people that she's already been able to help in the GG movement structure for the love heart positions. So I'm going to say thank you very much. It's been great sharing it with you. Please get back to the person who invited you. Don't think on this too much. As Richard Branson said, if you're presented with something that you think is a good idea, join and find out how to do it from inside. And that's sort of me changing his quote a little bit, but the reality is you find out how this works from inside, not from outside, not from Google, but from the people within. So good luck with your decision. Please do join. And I wish you all the best in health and all the best in wealth. Good night.